Instagram. Let's get live over here. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Scooter Chat Live. Thanks for watching. This is our episode number 5. We got a lot of cool stuff in store today. Just want to tell you real quick, Electric Scooter Guide is a platform where we run the subreddit for electric scooters. Hello, everybody. If you're logging in on Instagram, hello. I see a bunch of people coming on YouTube right now, so thanks for coming on. So we do this show every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There is a special kind of double feature for today where we are showing the premiere of the Horizon scooter full comprehensive review, performance data, range test, everything. That's the scooter behind me. And also, if you have a question during the show, we do take live questions. Type them in on Instagram, type them in on YouTube, and our Eli, who's now part of the Electric Scooter Guide team, he will kind of collate all those questions, and then I'll read them, towards the end of the show. So that'll be a lot of fun. Also, please take a moment if you're on YouTube. Go ahead and click subscribe to our channel right now so you can be updated with the latest electric scooter news, reviews, all that good stuff. Electric Scooter Guide kind of started because a lot of people were trying to figure out this new market. Electric scooters has a ton, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of just like crazy stuff going on. People don't know where to turn for electric scooters. I know when I was looking for my first scooter, 3 or more years ago now, I was searching on Amazon, looking at Amazon reviews. I was going on AliExpress, not understanding how that all worked, not understanding kind of like where we are in the market. And so basically this scooter really, this website started because we're here to really simplify the electric scooter market for you. So if you're just totally confused, but you think you want an electric scooter, that is why we exist, is to help people like you figure this thing out so you don't have to go search for 2 weeks and end up spending $900 on the wrong scooter. Hopefully you can spend $400 instead of the $900 on the right scooter, and you're going to be happy with your purchase. So that's kind of why the whole thing started. And then, as you know, for people that do own a scooter, as you know, kind of like once you have a scooter, a whole new world opens up to you in your life. You have freedom of mobility. If you live in a city, it's just kind of the best thing ever to be able to have an electric scooter and actually see your city, but also blast through cars and get where you're going whenever you want. And then when it rains and you don't want to ride your scooter, you just fold it up and put it in the Uber. So that is where we're trying to go here, and we're trying to help people find something that's really good rather than going on AliExpress and kind of getting screwed. So with that said, if you have a question today, I mentioned this already, but go ahead and type it into our Instagram chat. You can also type it into the YouTube chat. I've got them all open right here, but basically I run off of a doc that we kind of collate all your questions. But we also have questions from last week. If you're watching this on YouTube later and you are not live, you're not watching our live show, then go ahead and go to our Facebook group. The link is in the video description for that. Post your question there, and then not only we will answer your question, but also the whole electric scooter community of enthusiasts will answer your question as well. So you kind of get that crowdsourced answer, which is going to be a lot better for you. We also gather questions from everywhere. So you can ask questions on YouTube comments, Instagram chat, DM, whatever. It's just that there's so many questions coming in. It's hard for us to get to everything. So the Facebook group is where we're trying to kind of push everybody. Okay. So some news and updates for everybody. So I already mentioned the Horizon. It's behind me here. We're premiering our review video right at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's right after this is ending. So just like if you want to come and, hang out with us after this show's over, 1:30, so in just under an hour from now, it'll be premiering. The link is in the video description. And you'll find out why we think this might be the best scooter for that $700 price range, which is really, a lot of people are trying to upgrade their Xiaomi M365s. They bought that $400 scooter, and now they're kind of looking for something more range, more speed, whatever. The Horizon, may actually solve those problems for you, and we think it's a great new addition to the electric scooter market. We also have some upcoming reviews. So the Horizon written review is actually out as of this morning, I believe. Justin finished all that up, and we've got that online. So the link should be in the video description that you're watching right now. We have the Levy electric scooter due to popular demand. We got one of those in. We're finishing up all the testing, and we should have a written review out hopefully this week, with a video to come next Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. The new scooters that are coming this week is the Fluid Freeride Wide Wheel 2019 edition. We have the older edition, but they made some improvements to that wide wheel. So we're pretty stoked to check that out, because at one point, that was kind of my favorite, blow off some steam scooter, because you could, it's 46 pounds and that thing just rocks. And then also the other scooter that actually is being sent today is the boosted rev. So we will have a boosted rev hopefully by the end of the week. I'm not sure if we're going to put everything aside and just go and do all of our testing on that scooter, but I'm really anxious to see, because that's probably the number one scooter for questions and things like that we get. Also, there's some rumors of the Cabo Mantis. So we did a lot of work on the Cabo Wolf Warrior. It's actually right over, you can't see it, but it's in the same room with me here, taking up basically half the room. But still one of our favorite scooters to ride. We were racing it in a closed track, of course, earlier this week with Eli and Kamal. We're out racing those. So hopefully I'll get a chance to post some videos later. But there's a rumor that the Cabo Mantis, which is kind of a smaller version of the Wolf Warrior, is going to come to the United States market soon. So, stay tuned for some of that news. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just kind of go over the Horizon. I know there's a review coming up, but I just want to kind of give my thoughts on that. Also, I will look at the comments. So if you have any specific questions, I'll kind of look over at the different comments on Instagram and YouTube right now and try to answer those in the moment. But I'm going to go over everything just real quick before I get to the questions from the previous week. So really the Horizon is in that $659 to $729 price range. It is so it's basically your next step up from the Xiaomi M365. So Xiaomi 400, $399. There is the Levy at $499, which is turning into a really good scooter, but not a lot at $600 until you get to really close to $700. And so the prices on that, $659 to $729, and that's for the different amp hours for the batteries. The range is one of the big stories with this scooter. The range on that scooter is, we've never tested a scooter that actually had longer range than was advertised. So it's advertised at 25 miles of range for the 13 amp hour version. That's the one for $729. No joke, we actually got 26.01 miles. That's never happened before. We've tested. You can go on the performance testing page on our website. We think we've done this for 10, 12 scooters already. We've never, it's usually, 50 to 75% of the claimed range is what you actually get. This scooter just sips on gas, sips on battery, actually. So it got 26 miles, no joke. The 10.4 amp hour version should get 20.8 miles. We don't have that version, but just doing the simple math, about 20.8 miles. So the range is phenomenal, especially compared to the Xiaomi at a claimed range of 18.6. It actually gets 14.6. So, and we're doing all these tests on the same loops, okay, in the same conditions and everything like that. Portability on the scooter. Portability is also one of the highlights of the Fluid Freeride Horizon. it folds up really, really super small. So the Xiaomi, if you remember, it does not have folding handlebars. And that is kind of the issue with that scooter when you want to like really put it underneath the seat of your public transportation or whatever. The handlebars stick out, I think, 17 or so inches wide. The Horizon, actually, the handlebars fold down, they collapse, the stem collapses, and then it folds over and then locks in. So it actually comes out to 39 inches long. And for those of you outside the United States, it's 98 centimeters. That's the number to look at. That's the length of that scooter. So it's great for storing. The other awesome thing about this scooter is the top speed. So yes, it does take a while to get to that top speed, and that's probably why we're getting such a long range, because it doesn't accelerate extremely fast, but it does get up to about 24 miles an hour on a slight downhill on flat. And okay, this is all with me testing it. I'm 165 pounds. On flat, 21 miles an hour-ish. Yeah, 21, 22. And then actually on uphills, it still maintains about 19 to 20 miles an hour. I'm seeing a comment here, difference between the Horizon 08. Yes, the Horizon is the 08, basically. Okay, so if you go on to, we love the Zero scooters. RevRides.com is how you can get the Zero whole lineup of scooters, which we absolutely recommend. The 08 is a tried and true scooter. So what happens is there's clones. It's the same company that's manufacturing them is selling to different people. I believe the 08 and the Horizon are the same scooter. There might be a slight difference on the rear fender, but it's basically the same thing. So let's see. So thank you for the question, Do FEME. And I got a thumbs up from somebody else. If you're on Instagram, send me some hearts. Okay, power and acceleration. We've got, so this is the other story, right? It doesn't accelerate fast, especially to 50 feet. It's actually slower than a $300 scooter to 50 feet. It's got a lackluster acceleration off the line. So it's not like the rocket ship, okay? What it is, it's slow to start, right? Slow from 0 to about 50 feet, maybe 8 miles an hour or so. Then once it starts cruising up, then it flies all the way up to top speed, and you can actually hear the motor kind of like churning up a little bit when you get to the top speed. So there is some sound under stress, but it does hit that mid-range really hard. Thanks for the heart. And it goes to top speed pretty quickly. The brakes are good. It's a rear drum brake plus regenerative brake as well. So it's kind of got that kind of dual braking. If you just barely squeeze on the brake, you will feel the regen kicking in without the actual mechanical drum brake kicking in. So sometimes I do that just because I always test everything. The stopping distance, 22.8 feet. So it's pretty darn good. We always recommend having a disc or drum brake for, just to have some good stopping power, because electric scooters, sometimes you need to stop quickly. So always opt for at least one drum or disc brake on your electric scooter. This has a drum, which is a little less maintenance than a disc. Similar stopping power. Actually, the Xiaomi M365 stopped in 22 feet, or it was either 22 or 23 feet. It's on our website. So it's really, really similar to that, even though it's a little bit heavier. Speaking of heavier, it is 42 pounds for the bigger battery version. The lower battery version, I believe, is 40 pounds. Now compare that to the Xiaomi M365 at 27. Yeah, it's definitely heavier. And so for portability, that is somewhat of a downside for some people. I find, and I'm 165 pounds, that anything under about 45 pounds is actually a scooter that I don't mind picking up. So I take this up and down the stairs to my house every day. It's my daily rider right now. I leave it unfolded, and I just kind of like put one hand on the stem, put the other hand underneath the platform, and I have no problem carrying it up. I don't get winded. It's not like I carry up this Cabo Wolf Warrior, believe it or not, at 105 pounds. That one, after one flight, I'm literally huffing and puffing. So tires. Front 8-inch pneumatic, rear 8-inch solid, right? We do like pneumatic better than solid. There are so many people that actually do like solid better than pneumatic because you're not going to get flats in a solid tire. But pneumatic tires have just everything else about them is better comfort, better performance, better safety, right? When you're cornering, you actually grip the road, whereas with a solid tire, you just have the contact patch that is what the tire is, just, you know, what it looks like. It doesn't form fit to the road. I'm just looking at someone else on YouTube asked if what the difference is between the Fluid Freeride and the 09. Yeah. So this Horizon is the zero. This is to Tuan Bang. This is similar to the 08. Essentially, it's the same scooter as the 08. The 9 is one level above. I believe the 9 has a 600 watt motor. This is 500 watts. The 09 has 9-inch fully pneumatic tires, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, if you're ever wondering how scooters stack up to each other, go onto the Electric Scooter Guide to the comparison chart, and you can sort and filter based on like 13 different specifications, including just the name of the scooter. So that is the best way. Link in the video description. Check it out. The only downside, right, to having this solid tire in the back, right, is that when you do hit the brakes hard with a solid tire, it's a little bit more prone to kind of skidding. So it is a little fun sometimes when you can, like, you know, skid back and forth a little bit. But, you know, it would be better to have a pneumatic tire on the back. But again, you know, you're not going to have to change this tire. And if you're in good weather, it's fine. I've been riding it every day. It's summertime. It's great. Suspension. Best in class suspension. There's no scooter at this price range that is a like legit company that has better suspension than this one. It's a spring in the front, dual hydraulic in the rear, right? And so the rear, since it does have the solid tire, you don't get damping from a solid tire. You have the dual hydraulic suspension in the rear, which really helps to like kind of cushion all of the road imperfections, which here in Berkeley, which is where our test loop is, we have bad roads, believe it or not. You cross the road, the place to Albany, which is the next town over, all of a sudden you see the line and the roads are perfect. Here, they're basically like a brain massage for most scooters when you ride on them. So it's very nice to have suspension. This scooter, even after 26 miles, I could feel my feet, you know, it was just fine. Yeah. Okay. I see other questions coming in. I'll get to those later. Max load is 265 pounds. Again, close to best in class on that. The lights, there's 3 lights in the front, 2 lights in the back. The rear lights do blink when you hit the brakes. If your lights are on, right, so you can turn lights on or off to be on all the time. If they're on, the rear lights still blink, right, and then just stay on. The front lights, there's 2 button lights on the front platform, and then 1 more light kind of in the middle, but it's mounted low. So absolutely get yourself another front light for sure, maybe even a backlight. We always recommend adding a rear backlight to put on your helmet, because it's all about getting high visibility for electric scooters so that cars can see you. So if you're riding at night, make sure you have front and rear mounted at least handlebar level, right? So again, this scooter, the front light is right there. Don't rely on that. The lights are fine. It's 34 lux ish. Tested on an app on my phone. It's okay. It's adequate. Okay. Cockpit engages. Yeah, it's a trigger style throttle. But because I basically pull it the whole way all the time, your hand isn't like out like this, like some scooters which gives you a cramp. You're more like this, which is actually not that bad. I didn't get a cramp after the 26 mile range test. Also, there's a little kind of like a special feature on it where there's actually a USB port. So there's a hidden USB port in the throttle mechanism, and you just pull the cap off, and you can, if you have a phone mount, boom, you plug it into your phone. Kind of cool. You can charge your phone while you're riding your scooter. Don't ever take out your phone right while you're riding your scooter, because like that's when people get the wobbles and they fall. Yeah, other features, there's no horn on it. That's kind of disappointing that there's no audible warning at all. There's no bell, there's no horn, there's no nothing. So that's kind of disappointing. The kickstand is a little bit short. I don't think you can tell that it's leaning over, but it leans over about like that. So if you're on the side of a hill that's already leaning and you're putting the kickstand on that side, that scooter has a tendency to fall more than others. So just be careful, turn the scooter around the other way. It's just like a bike. It rides great. I love riding this scooter. It's nimble. It's fast. 21 is fast enough for I mean, I don't want to go into how I feel about riding above 20. I still go up to 30, 40 miles an hour on certain scooters, but 20 is fine for commuting. It's fast. Okay. The handlebars do screw in. So when you pop the handlebars back up, they screw in, which is nice because then you've got solid handlebars. They're not going to fall because that has happened to us before. But on the downside is when you go over a lot of bumps, they do tend to unscrew. And since you need to screw in and unscrew, you can't just put like, what is that? The locking stuff I don't know why I can't think of this right now. Somebody type it in, please, to the description. Drawing a blank. So it does unscrew if you're going over bad terrain. If you're going over smooth terrain, they don't tend to unscrew. Even if you're on bad terrain, they just kind of, they'll go up and down a little bit. It's not dangerous. It just doesn't feel good. So, and it's easy, just do a couple of those, when you stop somewhere. So in summary, I think this is a scooter to beat at $700. I think it's the kind of next Loctite. Thank you, Aaron. Awesome. Loctite, that's the stuff you put on. Not this scooter, but other scooters, right? Where screws come out. You put that on, right? And the screws are going to stay in. Okay. So summary is, I think, just like we recommend certain scooters at certain price ranges, under 400, right? You got the Xiaomi. Actually, under 600, we say Xiaomi. Actually, on our website, under 1200, we say 09. And even though that's $900, it's just such a good deal. Although there's new scooters coming out all the time. At 700, I think this is a scooter. I think this is a scooter to beat. Okay, questions for the week. Okay, so this is the previous week. We are going to start questions. These ones have all come in most of them have actually come in via YouTube. First question, common sense on YouTube. What is the top speed of the 8X? So I have not been riding the 8X much because my photographer, Eli, still has the damn 8X. He's here right now. He's the one that's checking your comments. Anyway, Eli, I know he's done with it, but he's getting us all of our photos so we can post them for you guys. And he got it to 30 miles per hour top speed, dual motor mode, 25 miles per hour in single motor mode. Okay, he's a little heavier than me. I don't know if he wants me to tell his weight. Maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. I would expect it to be a few miles per hour faster for myself. Glenn Tots Vlogs on YouTube. What would be the things I should watch out for in having electric scooter? Things that would need to be replaced or needs maintenance. Are you going to make a video on how to maintain your battery? There's a lot of questions. These are good questions though. So maintenance issues. Okay, so we have on our website, we did a survey 2018. We know what the maintenance issues are. We actually know on what scooter. We know after how many miles each of them appears because we got so many great responses. Basically, tires and wheels is 18% of all scooter issues out there are tires and wheels. That's mainly due, there, Eli says 200 with my big camera bag. Okay, so Eli's 200 with his big camera bag. I'm probably like 165, 170 with a, thanks Eli, just so y'all know. Yeah, I'm like I'm probably about 35 pounds lighter, and that does make a difference with the your top speed, your acceleration, all that stuff, and just all the performance data we do on our website. That's basically with me with a tiny backpack, which I would say in total with all my clothes and everything, about 165 pounds. So number one maintenance issues, tires and wheels. Okay, so that's basically because pneumatic tires do have, you get punctures just like a bike tire, right? And so there's a few things you can do to mitigate that. You can use tire slime, which is probably the easiest thing. I just keep bottles of tire slime here. And when you get a flat, I mean, you can do it before as preventative maintenance. Just, throw some slime in there, spin the tire around, pump it back up, boom, and you won't get as many flats. But if you do get a flat, and I've done this a couple times already, is you just, you let the air out, or it's probably already out. You squeeze in 3 to 4 ounces, pump it back up, spin it, give it a minute or two, and you're on your way. So, that's what I do. Second thing would be fenders. 18%, another 18% of all repairs are due to fenders. This, I think, was because back in the day, a lot of the U-Scooter and kind of Zoom Strider had some issues on their fenders, previous generations, right? And they had issues. Also, scooters that don't have a rear foot brake, people would stand on them and then they would break the fender because you're not supposed to stand on them. So that's that. And then finally, brakes. 14% of issues are due to brakes. Again, most scooters, you do need to adjust the brakes out of the box. And then again, after 5 to 10 miles, do a brake adjustment. Maybe we'll make a video on that. It's not hard. I'm not a technical person and I can do it. So, yeah, in total, those 3 issues account for 50% of all repairs. Second thing is things to watch out for when you have a scooter. So we got to make a video on this because, whatever. But number one, know who you're buying from. Okay. There is so much. So we operate tons of platforms. So Facebook, the subreddit, which has 6,500 subscribers and gets 1 million page views a month. Instagram and all of our YouTube stuff. So we get, and on the website, contact us form, right? We get all these questions, and probably half of the questions are people asking for technical support on their own scooter because they bought it from a place that doesn't give support. So when you buy a bike, right, there is a whole network of bicycle repair shops. So you can just take it to any one of the 8 bike shops in your neighborhood. That doesn't work for electric scooters. Electric scooters don't have a repair network yet. We're working on it, but it's not there. So what happens when you need to get something fixed? Well, you have to go back to your buyer. And, right, when bicycles were in their first 5 years, I'm sure there was a lot of bicycle issues too. There's a lot of scooters are great, right? And a lot of them are really good, and most we haven't had any issues with. But a lot, even good scooters, even great brands, you'll have some out-of-the-box issues, and you will get some issues as you go along. It's the nature of the market right now because we're in the first few generations. If you're buying an electric scooter, you're an early adopter. Congratulations. Which means that you need to understand that you need you just need to understand why having service is important. So when you buy from one of the places that at least we recommend, right? These and you're in the US because we do most of our work in the United States, you will find a company that will give you support, right? If you're buying from AliExpress or even Amazon, a lot of times you don't know that you're going to get support unless you personally know that seller. So anytime you buy off AliExpress or Amazon, we recommend messaging the seller, pretending you have a support issue, and then seeing how long they get back to you, making sure that they have extra parts available and ready for you to buy. Because I cannot tell you how often we get people asking us for support for how to fix this, whatever. And I'm like, well, we can't provide support for, the hundreds of scooters that are out there. Just we don't charge for this stuff. This is not, and it's just not what we do. We do buying guide. So as a buyer of an electric scooter, you have to understand why you need to buy from somebody that will give you support. So AliExpress, I asked them, hey, can you please, go to your seller? And they're like, well, it's on AliExpress and they don't give support. And I'm like, well, great. You just bought a $2,000 scooter. And now you need to go to Mini Motors USA that does give support, and John will answer everybody's phone call. And I don't think he can do that forever, especially when people aren't buying from him, right? It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, it's a long answer, but I think this point is important, and that is know who you're buying from, make sure it's a reputable company, and one thing we're doing is we are starting to do a brand kind of analysis on how the support is. So in the video description, I believe there's like a bit.ly link, and so far we've just done email support. We did it for 40 something companies, and we actually posted how long in terms of hours each company got back to us for a service request from an anonymous email account. So we're going to do that with phone, we're going to do warranty, and we're going to put all that up as a comparison shortly. But right now what's done is the email support. The other thing to watch out for when you have a new scooter, right? And this is on the just logical side when you're riding a scooter for the first time, okay, is you need to look at the road and go really slow the first few times you're on your normal commute, because when you're on a bike, you can cross over different types of obstacles a lot better. When you're on a scooter, you got to watch out for way more stuff. Little tiny rocks, little potholes, little raised up portions of the ground. All of those things can really mess you up on an electric scooter. And if you're looking at the ground, you're probably not looking at the traffic around you, be it cars, pedestrians, and bicycles, other scooters, right? So why you need to go slow the first few times is because when you're looking at the road, you're not looking at the car that's coming into your lane to stop short for their Uber passenger to get out and then open the door in front of you. This is all things that all of us have to deal with. So my recommendation is go slow so that you can really map out and start memorizing where your potholes are. Okay. All right. Next question about battery maintenance is a really good question. I had to turn to our other team member at the Electric Scooter Guy, Justin, who is an engineer. And we've also talked to other people about this. But battery maintenance, okay? Battery maintenance. So lithium-ion batteries are what is found in most of these electric scooters. I don't think there's any electric scooters that we really list that aren't lithium-ion anymore. They have battery maintenance systems, or BMS. Most batteries should be able to tolerate 300 to 500 recharges before you will notice any battery degradation. And if you are skeptical of this, I should post that video, but what's his name? Electron Surfer, who's like one of the other review guys, he did a range test, I think like a year after the first one on one of the scooters that he had, and actually he found that the range was like about the same, maybe slightly more due to wind or something. But basically, like 300 to 500 charges, you're actually good. And for most people, that's a couple years, which is probably as long as you're going to own a scooter before you're going to want to buy a new one. So that's one thing. So what the BMS does on a scooter, so the battery management system on the scooter, is one, it keeps your battery from being charged. These are all things, right, that'll mess up your battery long term. So what a good BMS does is it keeps it from being charged too quickly. 2, it keeps it from being discharged too quickly, right? 3, it keeps it from being overcharged. And 4, it will keep it. So if you notice, right, when your scooter dies, right, whenever you do range tests, right, the battery actually will turn off before it actually runs out of power. And that is the battery management system keeping that battery from going, all the way to zero, because that's not good for it. Yeah, and then also lithium-ion batteries, unlike some other rechargeable battery chemistries, don't have a memory, and you don't need to fully charge and discharge them to keep them in good shape. In fact, that's not good for them. So a lot of people are like trying to find weird solutions to like keep their battery from discharging or from charging all the way. They're trying to lock it at 80%, and maybe we can have like an engineer fight or whatever. But according to our engineers on our team, you do not need to do that. The battery management systems are fine. Let this be a sigh of relief to everybody. All right, next question. Robert Zoppi on YouTube. I live in downtown Sacramento. I only rode a Lime scooter, but I just pre-ordered the 09. Is that a better choice than the Nanrobot D4? Okay. So specs-wise, yeah, the D4 would beat the 09 purely on specs. Okay, again, if you're looking for info on these scooters, video description already has it because I prepared. But the D4 will beat the 09 purely on specs. However, that is not the only part of the story. The 09 is basically one of the best scooters out there, period. It's fantastic. However, Ninebot as a company, right, is really new to the United States market, right? Rev Rides, right, has been here, and they have a direct relationship with the guy who really worked to develop the Zero scooters, which is Victor Falcon PEV.SG is his website. He's in Singapore. And Ninebot, there's a lot of reports right now about issues out of the box, things kind of constantly breaking. They do seem to have stepped up their support game a little bit, which is really good to hear. They do not yet offer any demos to us. So we've asked them for demo scooters to kind of ride. We are not getting responses to that, even though they do seem to help customers. So, I don't, who knows why, but typically we get good responses from everybody in the industry. I would say hold off on Ninebot until, I'm not saying it's a bad scooter. I'm just saying the reports are, and if you go on to like the subreddit for electric scooters and just type in Ninebot, you're going to get a lot of reviews. Not all of them are bad, but most of them, people have had issues initially. Okay. Another question. So, is 09 the best choice for my first scooter and under $1,000? Under $1,000, I think so. I think it's an all-around great scooter, right? There are other great scooters like the wide wheel, which I think is just above $1,000, just like super fast. The 09, right, kind of similar to the 08. It's not ridiculously fast. It's more like your Toyota Camry, right? The 09, where it's good everywhere, right? It's got great brakes, it's got great suspension, great tires, great portability, great service, great longevity. Zero also, just as a brand, had the highest post-purchase customer satisfaction out of any scooter surveyed. So as a brand, they do really well for their customers, which is why we recommend them. And we have a post on our site where we rank kind of best scooters in the price category. Under $1,200, we have 09 as the number one scooter. If you are interested in buying that scooter, hopefully you used it, but we have a coupon code electric-scooter.guide. It's our website. I know it's hard to remember, but you put that in, you'll get 10% off anything on the Zero website. Okay. So yeah, the answer is yes. I do think it's a great choice for a first scooter. I think it's a fantastic choice for a first scooter. Okay. Next question. Song Lu on YouTube. How about the Ninebot X4 2.0 with 500 watts? How about it? So I think this is, just my, just opinion, right? I do, at $679 is what that costs. It has a solid rear tire with no rear suspension. That is not going to be good for anybody, right? Even if this was on another scooter, actually the Fluid Freeride Horizon S, so the precursor to this one, had a solid rear tire and no rear suspension. They discontinued that scooter, and probably for good reason. It's kind of a harsh ride. Anytime you have a solid tire and no suspension or crap suspension, that sucks to ride, man. I mean, if this is something you're buying for like a daily kind of thing, I wouldn't do solid tires with no suspension. Yeah, and that's all I'll say about that. I already talked about Ninebot in general. I don't want to like poo-poo Ninebot. I just look at the reports and all the reports we get, and right now I would probably hold off. Next question, Fabrizio Moscone on YouTube. Which front light that you would recommend for the 010X? Should I install a bike LED for 800 lumens or something else? Yeah. So the 10X, absolutely get a front light, right? Because the more light you have, especially around that handlebar lever, would be really optimal, okay? The 10X actually has good lighting, but it's low mounted, right? And just like we always recommend, spend the $40, get a higher light. We have our favorite light. It's the Night Rider. Yes, Night Rider Lumina. It's in the video description. It's $40 right now on Amazon. It's rechargeable. It's 750 lumens. So that's kind of the minimum we would go with. Just check that out, and I would just get that. And then also get the rear one as well for any scooter, right? Okay. eWheels KZ, who's always a viewer on Instagram. Thank you, eWheels KZ. He or she is from Kazakhstan. Difference between the 8X and the 10X. So difference between the 08X, 010X. If you want to see links to those scooters, video description should already be there. The 8X is 936 watt hours for the battery versus the 10X, which is 1248, at least for the 24 amp hour version. The lower amp hour version, 10X, I believe is actually the same watt hours. So the 8X is a little bit less battery than the higher end 8X. Suspension is really similar. They're both really, really good suspension. The 10X is actually kind of like our favorite ever suspension on any electric scooter. Maybe the Dualtron X is also phenomenal. So the weight limit on the 8X is 264 pounds versus the 10X, which is 330. So if you're a way heavier person, go with the 10X. But that 8X has a good power for you. The weight is actually somewhat similar, even though that the 8X is a smaller scooter. It's 73 pounds on the 8X versus 77 pounds on the 10X. The tires is like the biggest difference on these two scooters is the tires actually. So I think when Zero developed this scooter, they're developing it specifically for somebody that wants no maintenance on their electric scooter, which is why they put in dual solid tires. Okay, and in good weather, the solid tires are fine, and actually at high speeds, which we've had a few people now ride this at high speeds, it's actually quite stable at high speed. It's high speed being 25, 30 miles an hour, which a lot of solid tires are not stable. This is stable. It's got a wide tire. It's really nice. However, it is solid, right? And so you don't have the benefits of the pneumatic tire, which is on the 10X. So, so the story really is the 8X is the most beastly scooter you can buy now for a solid tire scooter. That is the one. And off the line, I'll just tell you the 8X does hold its own against the Wolf Warrior. The Wolf Warrior, we raced the two of them. The Wolf Warrior course is way more beastly and twice the price. But off the line, in maybe the first 50 to 100 feet, the 8X holds its own, which is somewhat surprising. Okay, next question. What do you think of the Joyor F7? So someone asked this question. Hey, thanks for the hearts. What do I think of the Joyor F7? So looking up the Joyor F7, you'll notice that you won't find it on the Electric Scooter Guide website in the comparison section. Why is that? The answer is that you can find this scooter on Joyor Scooters with an S at the end and not Joyor Scooter. And there's a difference. Joyor Scooter is a Spanish company where you can buy stuff from Spain. You can get it shipped to the US. Takes about 3 weeks. Good company, great scooters. We do recommend Joyor scooters actually. The F7 is not offered on joyorscooter.com. It's only offered on joyorscooters.com, and we do not recommend ordering from joyorscooters.com because of all the negative reviews that we've gotten from that seller. And I don't go too much into why and whatever, but suffice it to say that Joyor Scooters, so the plural version, is the one not to order from. Okay. So just don't get that scooter, I guess. You can call and ask the Spanish guys what's a comparable scooter. Next question. How can I get technical support on my scooter? Basically, that's half of the questions that we get. How do you get technical support on your scooter? You message the person that you bought the scooter from, and you hope that they can help you. And they will, if it's anybody that we recommend. So all the companies that we list in terms of all of our hands-on reviews, besides actually Xiaomi and Segway, a little bit not so great, and also Zoom, we don't have a review on the Zoom Strider EX. We have heard a lot of reports that they don't give good customer service, unfortunately. But so yes, if you're ordering from AliExpress, I already said it, just make sure that you check first. Now that doesn't help you if you've already bought your scooter, obviously. So if you have bought your scooter, there's two resources that we recommend. One, the electric scooter subreddit, search for your question before you make a new post, because there's too many new posts every day. Check for your, thanks for the hearts. Check for a new question all the time. And then the other one is the Discord. There's an electric scooter technical, there's a Discord channel that's associated with the subreddit, and there's a special channel on there just for technical support. You can also go on Facebook and check out if there's any special groups for, like, if you have a Xiaomi M365 or some of the more popular scooters, you'll probably find specific groups for just those, because the Xiaomi, it's not a great process getting service from them. If you're ordering on Amazon, you just return it within 30 days because it's on Amazon Prime. Okay. Yeah, so end of show question. So Walden on YouTube says, is there any news on the upcoming 09X? I don't have any news on that scooter. We'll contact, I talk to Nathan over at Rev Rides like every week. So as soon as there's something on it, I think we'll know, and you'll be the first to know because we'll put it in our news section. Walden on YouTube, are you going to create some guides where to buy guides in the EU? Really hard to find out what is safe, good places to buy from. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we have our hands full just dealing with the United States right now. If there's somebody that's watching this from the EU that wants to like start a EU version of our website or something, we can like maybe try to work with you on it. The places that I know offhand would be Joyor Scooter, singular, joyorscooter.com. Pure Scooters has a lot of funding and they're doing a lot of good work. I think right now they're just in the UK. If you are in the EU and you have some suggestions, go ahead and type it into the chat window, especially for on YouTube, because I think the live chat gets saved. Okay, Walden again. Geez, Walden. Where are you, Walden? Where's Walden? It's a bad joke. What would you say is the best, the wide wheel or the 09? Oh boy. Gosh, that's hard. Talking and that specifically driving experience, quality, etc. Ooh, that's a tough one. These are different scooters, right? The 09 is like your overall, all things, just like great scooter for the everyman or woman, right? Although it's maybe a little heavier than some women may want to pick up. But driving experience. Okay, so here, I don't know if I was to sum it up. The wide wheel is like a ripping fast scooter that goes zero. It's like the fastest darn scooter up. I mean, for that price and at 46 pounds, it's like so super fast. It does have super wide wheels, but they're solid. So, and the suspension is a little hard. So I recommend, and what all that means, right, to somebody that is new to this game is, use it on good roads, right? Don't like be off-roading this scooter. I've seen some reviews where it's like, oh, you can off-road the scooter. I don't think you should be off-roading this scooter. Most electric scooters are not made for off-roading. The Y wheel is super fast, super fun. It's going to zip up hills. We take it up the hills to Tilden Park sometimes, and that is like a 1,200 foot gain, believe it or not. And they're steep streets, like 10+% grade roads, and it makes it, right? It's really fun. It is the heaviest scooter that I like carrying. The 09, right, is more portable. I would say overall it's probably more portable. The locking feature is a little bit quicker. The wide wheel, you have to kind of unscrew something, so it's like not as great for kind of taking it on the subway and whatnot. But the 09 is just like all around. It has every feature that we look for in an electric scooter. So it does have the pneumatic tires. They're 9 inches. It's got dual suspension. It's got a 600 watt motor, which is, I think, a real sweet spot for the electric scooter market. So I think if you're using this as like a daily commuter, I may go with the 09 overall. Keen Eye on YouTube. What are your thoughts on the Ninebot Segway Max? Yeah. Good question. So we have 2 videos on the Ninebot Max, 2 videos where I do kind of like a first look review, and then we have kind of like riding experience on that scooter. Overall, it is a robust scooter. And the story for this scooter is that it's made for the sharing market. So it's super robust. They say 40 miles. It's not 40 miles. It's like probably 22 to 25 miles. It doesn't have suspension, but it does have large tubeless pneumatics. So, right, pneumatic is great, but tubeless pneumatic is better because you're going to have less chance of getting flats. So that's really great. Let's see, what else can I say about it? It's kick to start, which on hills can be a hindrance for a smaller person because it's hard to get a few miles an hour of speed going by kicking when you're on when you're on a hill like this. And so I had a little bit of a problem with that myself, and I'm pretty experienced with these things. So, check into that. Some people were worried about the brakes being, I always mess this up, but it's a brake. It's a drum brake on the front, I believe, right? And so if you hit the brakes really hard, are you going to go over? Are you going to tip over? So what I did is I tested this with lots of helmet on, a big helmet, on a downhill and on flat. On flat, the scooter actually locks out. It stops really quickly. When I was on the downhill, it actually did something cool where it didn't lock out that drum brake. So it kind of slowly made went to a stop, which was still adequately good. So I actually like that scooter a lot. And the other downside, right, to that scooter is that because it's not really built for there's a difference between the sharing market and the personal market, right? And a lot of that has to do with weight and folded size. And so the Ninebot Max, the folded dimensions of that, if you look, I think is like 117 centimeters long. And in one of those videos, there's a part where I actually kind of like show you the different sizes of car trunks and which ones fit that scooter and which don't. And the reason why I kind of looked into that was because the Segway ES2 didn't fit in my buddy's trunk. And that was the first time I've ever experienced that, because I'm all about electric scooters. And it was a little embarrassing that we had to like move his like bottle of water out of the way from the trunk. So that kind of sucked. The Ninebot Max is bigger than the Segway ES2. And so, portability is one of those key features for an electric scooter. The Ninebot Max is not as portable as others because the handlebars don't retract, and because the stem is the length of the thing when you fold it is actually pretty long. So if you're going to put it in the trunk of a car or something, you got to kind of put it in sideways. You're going to have more of an issue storing under the table at like a restaurant, or like at work, but basically on like the subway. But really for me, right, I sometimes will meet my fiance for like a movie, and then she may or may not want to like ride another scooter or get a rental bike or something like that home. And so we take an Uber back. And so if I'm riding a scooter, I need it to fit in the back of most trunks. And the Max may not do that as well as other cars. You may have to, it might be a pain in the butt. Okay, a couple more questions, and then we got a few more minutes, and then we got to log off because we got the premiere starting in 5 minutes. So for everybody that's watching, make sure to go to the premiere. Where can I find the email response sheet? So the email response sheet. So it will be on our website soon. If it's not, it should be in the video description, but I shouldn't look at that right now. If Eli or Justin can look at it's got to be in this video. I thought I put it in here. If it's not in the video description, check the previous Scooter Live video or previous review of like the Cabo Wolf Warrior or something like that. It's definitely in there. So if somebody on YouTube asked if this is Minecraft. So it's there. It's not hard to find. Just go to the video description of this video or another one. What do you think about the Highboy 5? I don't know anything about the Highboy 5. Sorry. I'll look it up and it'll be added to the next week's show. I think I've seen them on Instagram, but I just it's not a scooter I come across that often. And Nish Sharma on YouTube says, how does a Zoom Strider compare to the 09? It's really different. So Zoom Strider, I'm assuming you're referring to the EX version. The Zoom Strider EX is a solid tire scooter that's extremely portable. I believe it is, they say it's like 600 watts, I believe. but that's probably the peak. Nobody, including Zoom, has an answer to what the nominal wattage is of that scooter, but we think it's around 300. So the big difference is that the Zoom Strider is a solid tire scooter that's highly portable. 300 watts is still pretty good, right? And it does have pretty good like durability. It was one of our highest rated scooters in terms of how many miles per repair, and a lot of that has to do with the solid tires. The 09 is a more, I mean, I would absolutely recommend it because we always recommend pneumatic tire scooters over solid tire scooters. So I would say it's, you might have a little more maintenance on the 09, but it's in almost every regard a better ride for you for sure, because you have pneumatic and you have suspension, and really good suspension on the 09. Also for Zoom, it's really too bad because we have the Zoom Strider Pro, which is going to come out soon. They're just fixing some issues on it, and we had some good communication with them originally. But we've heard for a long time about the customer service issues with that scooter, and they don't seem to be going away. And so I want to recommend the Zoom Strider, but right now I can't until we see that they start taking care of their customers. So sorry Zoom, but you know, even if you have a good product, like, you got to take care of the customers, and you know, I really want to work with them more, but we can't until we see good customer service coming out of Zoom. Okay, next question, and then actually, you know what? I think we're gonna log off. Thanks, John, for saying this is a nice channel. Thanks for everybody on Instagram for watching. Make sure you stay. In 2 minutes, we're gonna premiere the Zoom Strider, so I'm gonna log off of everything real quick. Before you leave, subscribe to our channel if you have not, and also give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this for an hour, you better give me a thumbs up, because like otherwise you just must hate yourself for like watching a video that you don't like for an hour. So give me a damn thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, tell all your friends, and check out in 2 minutes. We're starting the premiere. Until then, ride safe and don't forget to wear your helmet. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Buy on YouTube.